kababayan, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Laruan ni Obi-Wan. If you love this game and are still playing the Halo Reach until now, then you are really familiar with the toy line that Mcfarlane has produced for this game. So let's take a look at the figures. So at present time, we are stuck with this Halo action figure line. So Wicked Cool Toys has been producing Halo action figures, especially one character, the Master Chief, in quantities. And somehow Articulation, Posability, and the accessories on this figure really sucks. But the only good thing about this is the size. If you want a statue, then you've got one. But if you want an action figure, then let's take a look at the older ones that Mcfarlane has produced for the Halo Reach game. I was on a toy hunt this afternoon and I visited several of my Walmarts and Targets, and I was not able to purchase any new action figures. And actually, some of the Targets and Walmarts even had empty pegs. So I just before going home, I visited some of my local toy shops, and these were the figures that I saw on the pegs, and actually they had many of these plus the accessories. And instead of purchasing one figure, I just withheld and just went home and took out the figures that I had on hand, actually a lot. So this is just going to be representative of the lot of figures of Halo Reach that I have on board. So basically, let us take a look at the base articulation of these action figures by Mcfarlane Toys. So this is a 5.25 inch action figure. So this is really built and customizable, and the articulation is decent. So by today's standard, of course, this one would suffer, but if this was compared to other figures right now, especially the one produced by Wicked Cool Toys, this is still a greatly articulating figure. So let's start with the head. So the head is on a double dumbbell system. So we have one ball for the head and one ball for the neck area. So that way actually depends on the helmet that you're going to assign to a figure, which is the custom idea for this. Actually, you could purchase accessory sets or armor sets, weapon sets, depends on what Mcfarlane would produce for this toy line, and you could change a lot of things with these figures. Okay, so going back to articulation, so we have ample head, so tilts would be okay, side to side, of course, no problem. And it depends on the helmet that you're going to use. That's going to be subjective to the head tilts looking upwards. So for the arm area, without any of the armors attached, so articulation is great with circular movement. Arm raises, decent. We have single point of articulation on the elbow, and it is pinned, but the articulation points, that is a ratchet system. So if your figure is still good, you could still heal the clicky click as you move that joint. Okay, so for the hand area, we only have a single handset, the one that is really attached to the figure and nothing else. But with regards to articulation, greatly articulating handset for this. So circular movement, actually this ball would still articulate. So this is the mother of the DC Multiverse articulation points on the figures that we purchase. So as for the waist area, we don't have any cut on the waist area for articulation, but that is okay, and I really don't want any point of articulation over here because it's going to break a really nice abdominal area. So that's especially from the neck down, the details are really good, but the articulation point would be on the diaphragm area, and Mcfarlane did not skimp on that articulation point. So as you could see, side side, front back, so you have a compensating area to articulate the figure for the body, even if you don't have this on for a cut. So for the leg area, single point of articulation for the knee, and it is pinned, and we have a ratchet system still. So this is how high this figure could kick and backwards, because as you could see, the design on the butt area is actually the cut is quite small, which allows the entire foot to move really backwards. So still okay articulation, and that is the bend that we have for the knee. So for the leg, we also have a ball, and it is a ratchet system too, so we could move this around the foot, I mean. And also we have a ball for the toe. So look at that. So really nicely articulating figure. This figure could actually do a lot of poses if you like. And the thing that I really like about this figure is it could hold a standard rifle shooting stance, which I would be showing later. Now, for details, just the base figure alone, without any of the shebang accessories that you could possibly assign to this. So take a look at that. So really rich in panel lines and mass, and we have green armor painted over the base body armor. So look, even the toe area, so look at that, how much detail is there that the Wicked Cool Toys really does not have. So let's take a look at the Wicked Cool Toys again. So really plain Jane compared to this figure. Okay, for customization purposes, so you could change armor pieces, you could change shoulder guards, you could change forearm guards, you could attach pouches, weapons, and whatever you want to attach to the thighs. You have attachment points for the grenade, attachment points for the rifle or bags. And actually, the base of the figure, the body, the surface area is really nice to paint, really customizable. So let's go to the version of the Noble 6 that I made for myself. Presenting my version of Noble 6. So let's do a quick 360 of this figure that I made for myself. So a lot of custom work has been done on this. Actually, not paint, but just attachments that I did to the figures. Plus, I exchanged the head. So the base body is color blue, and we have a lot of course, as you have seen the earlier figure that I shown for articulation points. It is the base figure also has really nice wear and tear marks. So wear marks on the armor of this figure Of course, he's a really battle ready veteran, so he has gone through a lot of missions, so the armor won't be as pristine as this other one, which majority of the paint is still intact. But for this version, actually I just chose a base body of a Halo Reach action figure that was really nicely worn out. So the of course, the boot area, the shin area, the paint would already be gone, because this is much of the area that would be in contact with surfaces, especially with vehicles, with rocks or the ground or anything. So this area would really be the paint would be really gone. So look at that amount of wear and tear, especially at the boot. We still have, I really don't know whether that is rust or possibly just mud that is on the surface of the boot, which actually we only have a little on the other foot. But I really love the detail on this. So before, I really enjoyed how I put or thought of the pouches that I'm going to place on this figure. So for the first thing that I did was to exchange helmets. So why not use the helmet that I really like? So EOD helmet, plus we have the sniper covering for June, the Halo Reach team sniper. So we have the backpack of June, the head cover for June, and we have still a bag, a backpack, and several grenades, 4 of them. We have the pistol. So take a look at that pistol, at how weathered that is. So I just imagine that this pistol has really been fired a lot, including this rifle. And mind you, the accessories that came with this figure really are made of hard plastic, so they are not bendable in any way, versus the Wicked Cool Toys version. So the areas that are also majority of the area that is also missing paint would be on the forearms, and the areas that would just have minimal paint on would be on the biceps, the front of the armor, the belt line, and the thigh area. But the rest of the figure, really nice detail. So especially the shoulder protectors that I choose, or shoulder armor. So instead of just using one of these, I have 2 on board, so left and right. So much protection for this Spartan. And as for ammunition, we have ammo pouches, where I would really want my ammo pouches to be located. So up front, so we still have 2 ammo pouches. On the belt line, we also have our battle knife, really accessible on the side. And we still have pouches for carrying possibly first aid or other equipment, or navigational devices of some sort, or radar jamming devices of some sort. We also have our forearm computer. And for survivability, I guess this is where you put your water and your sustenance, so on these 2 bags. But for the rest of the intent of the mission, so all of the gear are up front. So let's go to posing this figure. So this was the stance that I was talking about. So a proper rifle shooting stance, even for a bullpup designed rifle like this battle rifle, Look at that. This figure, even if with all of the pouches and the protection, the armor that is attached to it, it could still hold on to a substantial, even a realistic shooting, rifle shooting stance this way, which the newer action figures that we have from Wicked Cool Toys can't do. So that is why I still like this line until now, and I have kept my bunch of Halo Reach action figures, because look at that. So for a shooting stance, that is actually a really nice shooting stance, which my other Halo action figures, the 6-inch ones, can't do. So if you like this video, and if you have these figures still in your collection, so how are they doing? Are they just sitting around in the storage area? I think it's time that you take them out for display. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you on the next action figure review.